shit crack.
Peace, 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 family. How you all doing? I hope all is well with you. My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Ascendant Astrology, and I am your astrology coach. Today, I'm going to be talking about the Sun conjunct Saturn, which actually happened on the 16th, which was the day that I did the other video, the last video that I did, and I said I was going to give it a few days and then come back and do this one. And even though we might not be feeling this after today, I really just wanted to focus on the energy. So, a really good way to think about this, other than just whether or not you're feeling it in the moment or not, is really what you're overcoming, what you have overcome, or even just realizing and recognizing what places in your Aquarius area of life that you still have to work on. The reason I say that is because we had the Sun conjunct Saturn in Aquarius 3 years ago, back in 2020, when all the madness was happening. If you watched my videos back then, or if you was following me back then, that whole entire year was nothing but Saturn energy, even though it was in Capricorn, um, for the entire year. That's why I coined 2020 of the year of Capricorn, the year of Capricorn, because literally at any given time there were at least like 6 planets in the sign of Capricorn the entire year. You can even say, because Saturn is like a 2-year transit. And even from 2018, some of these themes were playing out quite heavily. It just kind of came to a close in 2020. Um, Another thing to keep in mind, which I'll talk just briefly about, I'm really not going to be on here too long, family, is that Mercury just entered Aquarius. And that will be there until the 15th or the 11th of March. So it's carrying all that Aquarius energy into this recent time. So keep that in mind, family. It's always good to hear the themes that kind of come with all of these signs so that you can, begin to get familiar with how to manifest, really. So this is going to affect Taurus, um, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Obviously, all the fixed signs the most. And then Geminis and Libras will have a positive experience because they trine Aquarius energy. And Aries and Sagittarius will have sextiles to this energy. And it's not to say that all the other signs, you're not going to be feeling this in any way, shape, or form. It's just that those ones are more prominent. So Saturn rules law, boundaries, karma, responsibility, maturity, commitment to something. It separated us back in 2020. We've seen how Aquarius can be an energy of or Saturn can be an energy of separation. It could have made us feel slighted, made us feel like outsiders. Um, but it also helped us work hard on our dreams, even if we had to change direction more than one time. That is literally the process of starting a business or doing anything any accomplishment comes with time and repetition. And then it was at 27 degrees, which is a Gemini degree. So communication, handheld devices, documents, um, paperwork. This could bring up things around if you haven't gotten the shot yet. I know there was something out that said something about um no shot, no SSI, so no government um funding if you don't have the shot. Now they could, again, this could be Sagittarius. I don't know where that came from. Sagittarius must be on my mind heavily. Or Sagittarius is talking about me right now. Um, um, remember, Saturn energy kind of like squeezes the life out of you, if you will. It constricts things. So limitation, and it can feel very uncomfortable. Intense is more Scorpio. That was the word I was going to use, but I think intense, um, frustrating is a better word to use to describe what that might feel like. It's whatever it is, it's going to be so bad that you're going to have to get up and do something. That's the idea of Saturn energy, is to get you to change something in some way, do something different. So like doing brain exercises, movement exercises. Like if you usually brush your teeth with your left or right hand, do vice versa. If you put your left shoe on first, do your right shoe first. If you go the same way to work, try going another way. It just helps you get out of some kind of consistent pattern that's probably not serving you right now. And with that being said, um, it's going to be different for everybody, and depending on what house you have it in, it's going to make it even all the more different. But in a sense, this energy is trying to get you to change the way you do something or think about something. So no, all these limitations, I mean, from the government perspective, quite clearly, it's to rule you. They know that we're due for a awakening with all this energy. And so, quite frankly, that's my personal reasons as to why they're doing that. So we don't evolve and change. Um, but for you personally, these things usually give you some kind of indication of where your next, um, where you're going to need to grow more next. Right. So this could also be IDs, passports. I remember just before the pandemic, if I'm not mistaken, actually, there was a whole bunch of riffraff about having to get these new IDs as passports. They're supposed to be one and the same. I don't know whatever happened to that. I'd assume everything was put on pause because of the pandemic, but I really don't. I haven't heard anything more about that. So IDs, passports, driver's license, insurances, and qualifications are going to can feel suppressed in some kind of way, or just in general, we can be feeling suppressed from around those types of themes. Aquarius rules air, atmosphere, planes, electricity, Congress, legislation, Senate, oil wells, workers, being rebellious or rebels, reforms, unions. And I think the countries that we're going to see with these themes and changes the most are Syria, Toronto, and Sweden. So pay attention to those places because more than likely they're going to tell us eventually where America is headed. Um, and unions give workers way more freedom than the companies, but remember, the companies work for the government, so there's going to be some kind of clash there for sure. I can see that being a thing. And then conjunctions are about structure, stability, and practicality, being an innovator, a pioneer, especially if you have this conjunction in your chart, you're an innovator, pioneer, you're unique, accomplished, you achieve something, or your goal is to achieve something. It's a time to shine. And kind of like an initiation process, like I talked about that Saturn square energy where remember where Saturn is getting ready to move into Pisces. So Saturn's either going to be giving you some type of reward because you learned your lesson of Aquarius and whatever. I'd even incorporate the last like I said, 4 years, right? So 2018, 2019. Think about what challenges were you faced with and have you um accomplished them in some kind of way? Because again, Saturn rules both Capricorn and Aquarius. So you really want to check out your Aquarius, Saturn, and Uranus placements to see where they are in your chart, what has come up for you over the last 4 years, and what more you need to do, or what have do you need to be giving yourself a pat on the back, and do celebrate these things when you are recognizing that you have won something or you've completed something. For this Pisces new moon coming up on Monday, be sure to celebrate and celebrate your ancestors for helping you learn those lessons. It's going to be very, very important as you move on to this next journey because trust and believe, like I said, right after that, something new is coming in as a new challenge. And it's not all bad, but the idea is that time waits for nobody, change is inevitable. There's not much you can do about it, but to get ahead of it, stay grounded, stay disciplined in your whatever, and do the work. That's all Saturn wants. So yeah. So a time to shine. This could be new groups being formed, new leaders, new platforms, new communities. Definitely be on the lookout for that, whether online or offline. I think you should have a great deal of both, because only Lord knows what they're gonna. I'm really trying to be like super positive and not bring in no negative energy, but at the same time to be aware. I think we could very well be heading into another lockdown or something being constricted that can feel like a lockdown because they don't want us to evolve, which can feel again like an outsider, not being heard, left behind. And um it can bring depression and sadness to your goals and dreams. So you need people, you need to connect to others, you need support, and to be realistic about how those things are being, how you are bringing those things into your life. So you need boundaries, time management, a sacrifice. Unfortunately, we are fighting two different Americas. And whatever this is that you're working on, whenever we're talking about Saturn, this is always for the long term, the longevity of something. You could be working on your self-esteem, self-worth, identity, purpose, again, limitations, doubt, actual gray hair. Um, you can feel like you don't have time to make changes. That's not real. Remember, it's just an illusion, and you have to have the tools to fight against those low vibrations, the limitations, all that. There can be more separation, unfortunately, more commitments, gratefully, more fear, definitely some freaking out here. Whenever I think of Aquarius energy, you know how like when you're watching TV and it's showing like the whole screen shaking, but it's only like for a certain period of time. Yeah, so I see Aquarius energy as being shaky like that all the time. So they can be paranoid, and things of that nature. Um, and so make sure you're not buying into fear because we can definitely see a lot of that being played out in the media. Um, use that fear to fuel the vision and what you want and the glory and have a plan for that. Um, and then the actual day of the conjunction, the moon will be in Capricorn, Pluto will be in Capricorn, Mercury will be in Aquarius, and the sun is in Aquarius, and Saturn's in Aquarius. So this is a highly Saturnized day. So again, if you're feeling like, say for instance, two people are in the same room, but you're doing your own separate things, this is very Aquarian like. And maybe you want to be closer to somebody, but you're busy. You have to go to work. You got to travel. Shit needs to be done. The kids have to go to their whatever. But you know what I mean? Like you could want to feel closer to someone or something, or focus on someone or something. But there are going to be other things outside of you that can feel like restrictions, like limitations, because life happens and people have things to do. Don't forget that we also had a lot of that Pisces energy and the Pisces new moon coming up, and this is all leading up to that new moon. Um, ghosting, scammers, unfortunately, this is the type of energy that this can kind of bring in. So instead of focusing on the negative and all the things that aren't working, start putting some boundaries up so that those things can't come in to affect you anymore. Um, this could also be limitations on money and responsibility. So, just be patient with yourself. Again, come up with a better plan. If you feel like you're not able to get things done. And then the moon will trine Uranus on that same day, indicating that there's some kind of physical change happening, which I actually feel like is going to be more positive than not. But again, everybody's at different levels of their spirituality. So you really, it's going to be different for everyone. And then the sun will square Saturn. Again, I did talk about that. This is the graduation that I was talking about, along with Mercury. It could be limiting information or speech. Um, you might feel like you want to say something but can't, or we're seeing them, not allow us to say certain things on social media. It could be power, electricity. Dude, my electricity in the whole building, not just my house, went out twice this month. So, that Saturn Uranus energy definitely showed up for me in my life, in a big way. Um, pay attention to what announcements will come out, especially things, it could be things around separation, groups of people, religious boundaries. Um, this can be about global control, government, power, military operations, the military in general, new people in power coming up, stepping up, and reinforcing things or change. Um, I think we're going to see that a lot of businesses that closed in 2020 or over the last few years are closing down to be replaced with robots. And that could be another limitation, that more people are going to lose their jobs or money, like a reduction of money, like your salary. And I think I talked about that a little bit too already. And then you're already seeing the surveillance stuff, surveillance state. They could be selling how important that is to have that. Oh boy. or everything being in a cloud, like information being in a cloud, that can become a bigger thing, or topics can be talked about that in different kinds of ways. It could be limit to flights, airspace, and borders, or the limit to energy or information. So again, family, this was really short. It was intended to be short. I really just wanted to get themes out there in hopes that you guys can start to see, some of the things, the changes that are coming up, and how you can play around those things to build something that you're working towards. As usual, family, I love and appreciate you. I hope you found this information helpful. Peace.